Whew. 756 noties. So much to pass. Okay, it looks like a good portion of them are system messages, a warning, so that's a relief at the very least. An impact warning from when I crash landed. Oof, some of these are a bit brutal. Yeah, that one's definitely not for children's eyes. Or ears. In fact, many of these may not be. Okay, I'll make sure to check some of these in my own time. Wait, is that a message from Nestle? Hello everybody, and welcome back to Dungeons, Drive-Ins, and Dice, A Wider World. This season, a D&D podcast about 4 wayward adventurers out to rescue some goblins and figure out what's wrong with Wilhelm's Hole. I'm Em, and I play Haribo Tamagotchi, changeling artificer not of this world. Currently, he's half-elf Haribo. And our questions of the week this week is we're picking a character and asking them a question to help figure some stuff out or answer a question we've always wanted answered. And mine's for Grace about Margery. I guess it would be about Margery. Tell me a time that Margery chose to make she took an evil action, and how did that make her feel? Has that what's the most evil thing that Margery has really executed upon?
Okay, well, this is actually something I remember writing down in my first draft of my character background, because I didn't know we were supposed to be doing those sorts of things. In my head, because I didn't really know how any of the necromancy stuff worked, I was like, I'm just going to make it up of how I think it would go. Part of what Zogmoth, the way that she earned her, what is it called? Is it called a totem? Is that what it's called? The thing that gives me my magic powers? Totem focus, I'm not sure.
Yeah, totem works.
It is a baby gator skull, and Zogmoth had said you're gonna go earn your totem, and you'll know what it is. It has to be a living thing, but you'll know it. You'll know what is right for you. And so she went off on her journey, in the woods, just trying to figure out what Velsharoon is gonna lead me to. And I heard that if you know nature stuff, I guess Gabe and I might know, just a baby gator sound or crocodile sound is very distinct.
It has a sound, yeah.
Oh, it is very distinct, for sure.
So I followed the sound and killed the baby gator, which I think, in Margery's opinion, she thinks that's the most evil thing she's ever done.
Can I just interject really quick? Because I believe I've asked a version of this question before.
And I did kill
And
Carmen.
the answer that you gave was that you
killed
lured a kid into the woods to their death.
But what's worse than that? Killing a crocodile.
Yeah, but the baby crocodile though is worse. She so worse that she locked it away and doesn't generally think about it until the right moment comes up, I guess. Until she's asked twice.
And that's on having a bad memory.
No, when you were starting to talk about that, I was like, wait a second, have we talked about this? But then you said something about a gator, and I was like, doesn't sound familiar. Well, more
That's
evil
funny.
stuff from Margery. Children and baby gators.
I think that was the first. Maybe the gator was the first draft, and I was like, not evil enough. I killed a kid, and got all die hard on it. But thank you, Gib.
What does that mean?
That's a line from Die Hard. I killed a kid.
I killed a kid. The guy it's the cop, Ralph, whatever his name is.
Oh yeah.
Carl. I don't know.
Ralph, Carl, whatever.
Randy, I don't know what his name is.
Speaking of Ralph Carl, I have a name, and my name is Lawrence, and I play the gelatinous bard Sparkeloneous. My question this week is for M's character Haribo, and what I would like to know is, what's Haribo's greatest weakness? No reason.
No reason? You can't. That's a wild thing to follow up with. No reason. I've had this strange suspicion about Sparkeloneous for a while. I'm going to keep it to myself, but know that I have suspicions about you. This question does not help them, I will say.
This is a Lawrence question, not a Sparkeloneous question.
Sure, I bet it is. That's how I would hide it, too. Biggest weakness? I don't know, man. something about me wanted to say chocolate, but that feels like I don't know. Are we talking like are we talking like the way to like, oh, I'm weak for chocolate, or are we talking like my ankles are bad,
You can take the question as you please.
Okay. Honestly, Haribo's biggest weakness is that, maybe you can help me come up with a word for it, but I feel like it is that he has spent, like, whatever the concept is of him having spent so long here and still not believing in magic, it sort of seems defiantly against all evidence presented. I don't know what that would be called, but that feels like when he's made up his mind about something, it is like
stubborn.
Yeah, maybe that is it.
I think
Maybe
that's
that's
what
just
it is.
no, yeah. My brain wanted it to be more like complex, but maybe it just is that he's stubborn. Like his biggest weakness is that once he makes up his mind, he just doesn't want to change
Once he makes a decision, he sticks with it.
Yeah,
some
he
people will
commits.
respect that.
It's good for some of the things. It's just bad until it's bad when it reaches the point where he's been here for 2 years and is just finally realizing that like life is cool around him. He was just too annoying to admit it, but he's not there yet. We'll see.
And I am Michael, and I play the dwarven fighter Thaddeus Ofkoot. And my question is for Gib.
Oh no!
And did
All right.
Gib have any life plans that he will not get to now that he has become a servant of Zogmoth?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's so sad.
That's such a good question.
What was Gib's whole deal before the party in the pit?
He set up the pit with his friends or his brothers, family.
Yeah, probably siblings of some sort. I think Gib was probably at least a little bit ambitious, so perhaps his goal was to be dragon blessed, because that was a thing that was happening in his tribe at that moment, was that Atric, the kobold who had already been dragon blessed, had rolled in, or perhaps the dragon had rolled in. I haven't really nailed down exactly the timeline of the dragon and the kobolds in all of this, because we haven't really dealt with the dragon at all, who's the real mover and shaker in that relationship.
I realized I was so focused on my fries that I didn't take my turn, and I'm sorry about that.
Usually Mike has to go after Grace, which
Well,
is
and
it's
yeah,
tough.
and I remember Grace talking earlier, and I'm like, oh, there's silence. I should go.
No, that's so funny. I
No,
love that. I love
that's
that.
me.
It took me a minute to also realize.
I was eating my fries, but 3 is me. Okay.
Now you have to follow Mike for once.
I know. How the turntables. Hi, my name is Grace Stringer, and I play our cleric, Margery Ridgeback, and semi-evil necromancer. And my question is for Thaddeus. What is your biggest regret about our adventure so far? Like, looking back, you're like, oh, man.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Thank you.
Wow. That takes us back.
I'm sorry. I'm evil.
How the turns have tabled.
I'm stirring the pot. This is her actual evilness. It's just bitchy side comments and sowing doubt.
Means I have to ask Sparkeloneous a question. Okay.
I don't know that he has any massive regrets thus far. I don't think he's, wantonly killed anybody that didn't need killing, that would fall outside of his paradigm. I think he's still mildly embarrassed about having fallen in the pit early on. I think he also has regrets about when we were at the dig-ins, that he turfed it so badly that he missed like 80% of the battle. So for Thaddeus's mentality as a soldier and the protector, anytime he sort of falls down in those capacities are his biggest regrets, because that's the reason he was sent on the adventure in the first place. And when he falls short on that, it does eat at him a little bit.
I sort of want to push that question further, though, because biggest regrets could also, we did literally kidnap Gib and then revive him to make him totally ours. But
totally one of ours.
How many of us know though that he has been killed and revived, to the T, died and revived? Because I don't know that we really broke it down when he was quote unquote.
I don't think Margery explained that ever.
Nope.
Yeah,
I gotta explain myself to you.
I don't know that those are his regrets, but he definitely has concerns about some of Margery's behavior that he may not have called her out on. Like when he was holding, was it Atric? And she came up and slit his throat
No,
while
it's
he
just
was still.
it was just a
So
random
was the-
kobold.
yeah.
That was just
Just
a
a
random kobold.
nobody.
Yeah. But he was sort of taken aback, and he feels bad that he didn't say something about that and address that sort of behavior in the party at that
Interesting.
time.
The thrust of what I was asking, though, was because the party sort of kidnapped Thaddeus also. And I would be sort of curious what Thaddeus's ambitions were before he was hijacked into our shenanigans.
Well,
My question has
yeah.
to be for Sparkeloneous.
I don't think one, your question, I mean, it has to, but he deserves
No,
one too. But I
for
will say
the
that
for the
last-
verisimilitude of it.
Sure. Last
Want to.
episode, though, Mike did say we talked about like what our goals were, I guess. And Mike said that Thaddeus's goals were to become like a lord of a little hold, similar to Lord Thorn.
hmm
He wanted to
Yep.
like run a hold, and like
Interesting.
have the good life where people are working for him, much like he works for. Also, technically, Thaddeus is working right now. We did not kidnap him. He got
He's working
Thaddeus is on the clock,
overtime.
and the
surely.
job is still going on. It's the same job,
Overtime. Wow.
just part 2 of the same job.
I suppose Thaddeus is probably salaried.
The podcast is just called Thaddeus is the longest day of work ever.
Mike actually hasn't been keeping up with his cash because he knows he has salary money coming in when Thaddeus gets home.
That's right. That's right.
He's like 40 gold. Yeah.
Whatever.
That's nothing.
Okay. Okay, Sparkeloneous, I have a pre-question and then a question.
But who are you?
I'm Sparkeloneous, but who are you?
Got me. I'm Theodore Stringer, the game master and player. I play the world, the rocks and the dirt, all the way up to the gods themselves. That's me. And I have questions for Sparkeloneous. Sparkeloneous, you have done concerts before the Sundown Showdown Part 2, right? You did a bunch
Oh
of
yeah,
them.
we did a tour.
Right? A good number?
The previous tour.
Previous tour. What is the worst, like how bad has it gotten? Has it always been good times and parties, or have you bombed?
I think the first like 18 concerts were all pretty bad.
Okay. Any standouts? Tell me a bad concert
I
story.
think probably the number one was we played this bar, and for some reason they just didn't like the look of me. Immediately they were unhappy with the whole vibe I was bringing. Maybe it's the experimental nature of the Sparkeloneous solo shows that was the problem, but
How did it go? How did it end?
they wanted the
kick
classics,
you
and
out?
Sparkeloneous didn't know any of the classics. I think it was probably the show that, we probably got kicked out by the end of that one. Barson also wasn't doing a great job that show. And, by the end, Drunk Barson and Sparkeloneous got kicked out, and that probably was the show that got Sparkeloneous to learn the classics. That's whenever he really gained respect for the classics. It's good to be a well-rounded bard, I think.
When last we played, we fought some spiders. We got some various spider bits that may or may not be interesting, and we journeyed to within sight of the fort built into the mountain. But that's not where we're going to start, because earlier in our previous episode, Haribo got some noties.
756, if I recall, from
So many
Mike said.
noties.
756 noties. Surprise, this podcast, we're going to go through them all, one by one.
We did say we were doing
That's
a
all
one
we're
by
gonna do.
one notey show.
No.
We'll get to 756 eventually.
Because at the end of the episode, I think, Haribo, you took some time to deal with your noties, and then were interrupted by Margery. But you were wearing your belt goggles, so I don't think Margery actually would have, picked up or, overheard any of your notey content.
Because they're goggles and it's not like an earbud, if anyone has seen, the VR headsets, how the speaker is, next to your ear. If you're next to someone, you can hear... You can't hear the detail, the bass, and, the birds in the background or whatever, but you could probably, if you were listening hard enough, catch what is being said if you're close enough. But yeah, Margery told me about the statue, and then we had a little chat about Gib and that we're gonna like look into him, and then I went back to checking my noties.
So let's talk about the noties. A good chunk of them are system messages. Can't connect to the Starways network or, whatever it is.
Heavy hit
Low.
from when I took the log shot, like
Mm-hmm.
missing.
Impact detected, low battery,
I would be
all sorts of
curious,
different
are there
things.
any kind of also curious about how did my belt respond when I was in the Feywild? Did it change? It's like that is definitely a section Haribo would have checked, not to derail.
That's a good question. I'll have to think about that.
Sure. There's a lot of noties to parse, of course.
There's a lot of noties to parse. And, setting aside the gross majority of system notifications, there's a good number of notifications that are just messages for you.
You up?
You up? I scroll through all of the you up, you want to watch a show. It's like 4 in the fucking morning.
I heard you got blown up, that true?
Heard you got blown up, you around.
You want to get
around
blown
to
up,
blow this
winky
up?
face?
You want to get blown up, winky face? No
Oh my
response.
God.
Sorry, it must be true. Sad face with cry. Oh my god.
Oh, goodness. But mostly, the tricky thing about most of these notifications is that there is no text to them. It is just an audio attachment. And due to wherever you are and whatever has happened, your connection with the... I
Server?
don't think that we've quite nailed it down what the
Network
is called, but your connection to the galactic network is limited. And so it's going to take a hot moment for it to download and decrypt all of these files. But you do have the first one. The question I am
also have-
curious about before we fire that off, does Margery hear this?
My thought about this was that I probably
Because it definitely
spent-
occurred to me, like when I was doing the rewatch, it was like, oh shit, Margery snuck up on him here.
This is true. And the gray man was still smoking a cigarette, right? Like, if I recall during the re-listen, he rolled a cigarette and was still smoking it. If, like, in that moment I found the audio message, I'm not going to listen to it yet because I'm aware of, like, even if I turn it down, like, who knows? I'm going to wait till I feel like I'm alone. So I feel like I spend a lot of the evening, I get enough rest or whatever, but I spend a lot of the evening going over these, and I'd like to say it's in the early hours of the morning when I finally like convince myself to listen to it. So my question, I think, was probably like, who thinks that they're waking up, I don't know if by that point I'm worried about the volume because I think people are asleep, but that would be my thought maybe.
That's also an interesting thought. I assume, Haribo, that you listen to this while you're on watch, like during your shift.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
On my end, at the very least, I'm going to have the NPCs roll for wakefulness. This will be a fairly difficult check for them, though. Yeah. Okay. I don't know
let's
about the
see,
rest of you party
who's
mates,
on watch after Haribo? I'll say that person's probably the most likely to overhear it, right? Because that feels like a good time for Haribo to accidentally be listening to this as like the watches are switched.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was Thaddeus was going to take last watch because he needed to rest and recover.
Yeah, and it seems
When
like Haribo was on first watch, the way that we boiled
What-
it down. We could just do like perception checks from the crew to see, Gabe, maybe, if they like overhear.
Yeah,
My thought
I'm gonna
is that, like, I wanna
I'm gonna
play
say
this
it's
for
gonna
you
be
guys
like
to
a
know.
DC 18 or 19 perception check for a party member to overhear this, but this is definitely something that we want the table to hear for sure.
Well, it's not Thaddeus then.
He asleep, that's okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's not Margery either.
She asleep.
All right, it's all
got
on you,
a-
Sparkeloneous.
14.
All right, well,
Alas, this is
From the
Haribo's
pot.
secret to keep.
then that's okay. This is a good Haribo thing. It's it might alter his thoughts on a few things, but for you
But
guys,
what
who
about
played-
Gib, who's a minion of Margery's who could overhear it and then share it with Margery?
And the
I
Grumman.
have made my rolls for the NPCs.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna be secretive about it.
okay.
Haribo, you're posted up against a tree, keeping an eye on your sleeping party mates, and you're listening to your first audio message.
GQC, Uma, Falcon, Sing, 3212. Cinder, Genesis, Nestle. Stardate, 6563. Time, 0437.
So you finally gone and done it, huh? You blew up the lab. You stayed late, probably for the 4th or 5th night, knowing how you get it. Tinkered with something someone definitely told you not to poke at, and now look. Fuck you, Haribo. You arrogant, self-centered, myopic, work-obsessed little prick. How could you not have listened to me for fucking once? How many times have I told you to rest when you need rest? This is exactly the reason Chief Wade pulled your credentials for a week when he found you sleeping in front of a trough of industrial-strength oil cleaner. In fact, you're still on night suspension from that stunt. How did you even get into the lab? It was supposed to be a joke down at Chevy's, not something I have to tell Toblerone about in the morning. Fuck, it's already morning, isn't it? I can't believe this. Lab's a mess, so I hear. I won't let anyone below Griffin clearance near it while they're doing cleanup and investigation, but I cornered Sergeant Munns and I pressed him. What are you doing, Haribo? Told me the whole floor had been locked off. He said he saw a cleaning crew coming back from there with burnt hazmat suits. You have any idea what it takes to do that? The lower floors are crawling with more suits than I've ever seen. Whatever happened, it seems like we're lucky the lab contained it. So there's that to be grateful for, I guess. Hey, Haribo? Don't be dead, yeah? I mean, my gut or whatever tells me you're not, but I'm about to deal with a whole lot of people telling me you are. That it's a mathematical impossibility for you to have survived whatever happened there last night. So, prove them wrong for me, okay? If you're not dead, you probably have the belt, right? So don't die out there while we figure out where you're at and come get you. I love you, Haribo, and I'll fight you no matter what I have to. Yes.
Dr. Genesis, you're needed urgently on C deck.
C deck? It's 5 o'clock in the goddamn morning.
End of transmission.
The thought plickens.
Did you say Toblerone? Like the candy?
Sure did.
Sure did.
Hell yeah.
Did you catch the sender's name, too?
Genesis?
Nestle.
Yeah.
Oh. Funny. Sponsors?
Sponsor? Toblerone, Nestle, get at me. Hold on. Tamagotchi, Haribo, anyone? Just get at us. We'll take it.
I'll take anything.
Oh, wow. That was really good.
That was so good. Snaps.
It's pretty fun. That hit me.
Yeah, I'm going to have to keep writing those.
That got me right in the feels when I was going through it, and I was like, this is good.
Does Haribo have a secret wife?
Secret wife.
Or a public wife.
That's true. Secret
It's not
does.
public to us.
Public wife.
But what about Miranda? Whatever her name was.
Miranda rights.
Minerva?
Minerva. Sorry,
What
Minerva.
about her?
Well, I don't know. You guys have a friend.
We have a thing, yeah. Me and Minerva definitely have a thing. Definitely.
Oh, okay, good. Because I'm a Minerva Haribo shipper through and through.
So probably not public wife then.
No, I'm on Team Miranda / Minerva.
Team Miranda. Good. We need people on Team Miranda, I guess.
I can't remember facts about my own character. I'm sorry, I can't remember facts about yours.
No, that's okay. You nailed it.
Is definitely the most I've ever been able to remember about everybody.
So whoever wakes up and comes to check on watch for Haribo. He's kind of a mess.
Sparkeloneous only meditates for 3 hours, so I assume Sparkeloneous can take the second watch. Oh, hey there, buddy. Are you doing okay there? Looks like you had a rough night.
No, I just going through some stuff with the belt. I think I'm just gonna get some sleep.
Doesn't fit?
Yeah, it doesn't fit. And Haribo kind of wanders off into his single person tent. Yeah, hell yeah. Deep sobs resonate from within.
I like the thought of Sparkeloneous just the next day being super sensitive about Haribo and his weight problem that he's going through, about his jumpsuit being a little too tight, maybe. Because Sparkeloneous just listened to him cry for the next hours.
He's really beat up about that belt. You can always put a new notch in it.
All the bells and whistles you'd think could be adjustable.
Got him.
Fuck. The belt's a one size fits all.
So stupid.
Just stupid enough.
Oh,
Fast
it's
forward
perfect.
to episode 200 where we see, a large size space character with the belt wrapped around like their thigh.
It'll fit you somewhere. That's what I meant.
One size fits most.
Wow. Okay. So now I have to follow that with narrative.
We just had to break the tension up a little bit.
It's the next morning, and we can see up on the mountain this hobgoblin stronghold. This stone wall with a stone tower built up behind it. What's the plan? Are we just gonna roll on in? Do we want to sneak around? Do we want to pretend to be a band again? I guess we're still pretending to be a band.
Yeah, we have two
'Cause we got-
NPCs with
yeah.
us now that are expecting us to be
We
a
are
band.
Yeah.
24/7, except for when
I guess
was
that's
sobbing in
true.
my
I guess
tent
you-
last night.
1.5 NPCs maybe. I don't know what the Gray Man expects.
I had a question about. We have this big lone mountain, right?
Mhm.
You said it was like a stone tower. There's a big wall. The settlement that you're talking about, is this like built up onto the mountain? Like, is this the settlement that gets us in? I guess is my question. Or is this another settlement before the mountain?
This is the settlement that gets us in. It's not built like straight up on top of the mountain, but it's like a semicircular wall built into the mountainside surrounding something. A tower that rises above it.
Yeah,
I think we should have a band huddle. Band only huddle
And
for
only
morale.
huddle.
I
And only
believe
huddle.
we
How do
call
you
that a
how do you
rehearsal,
announce that?
Margery.
describe that for me?
band meeting. We need a quick band meeting if we are to approach this final show of ours. If you guys don't mind, I guess while we're getting the
Well, really
camel
quick, let's
together.
get a little bit of a sort of a lay of the land here. What kind of music they into here?
I guess that's a question for me.
Welcome to the band. For now, well, while we're in this
Oh.
part of the huddle.
Okay. Good to be a
Great,
good to be a
you
band
too.
member.
The
Yeah,
pre-huddle huddle.
The pre-huddle. Exactly.
Yeah,
Grayman,
okay,
you can Satchel. Sorry, not Grayman. Satchel, you can join too if you have any insight.
Raymond's a little rude.
That is not what I said out loud. I wouldn't have. I definitely wouldn't have said. Well, honestly, I can see him.
heard
making-
it.
It was,
in your
it was in the
accent.
accent.
Shit. Well,
You said it with your mouth.
you said it with your mouth. I have to be very careful about what I say with that mouth. All right.
Fine.
I hate that infers that Haribo has more than one mouth.
Satchel goes and sits in the wagon.
No, what I meant. I was trying to be inclusive.
I think you hurt his feelings.
Am I part of the
did.
band?
Yes, Kendra and Gib.
And people say I'm the evil one.
It's Gib.
Gib, you're definitely part of the band. You've got an instrument, remember? All those bowls and plates.
And a
Oh,
vest.
yeah. And a vest. Okay.
We couldn't do it without
The
you.
question was for Kendra, and the question was, what kind of music do they like?
Yeah, what kind of music they into?
They would definitely like the epic of Gribbik. That'll definitely go over well with most of the crowd. But I will say, because it's a settlement that's connected to the Underdark, the populace is a little bit more diverse. So if you wanted to go closer to the experimental stuff you tried at your first show, I'm sure that you would get some fans that way too. Maybe less of them, but maybe they'd be more devoted.
Maybe,
So we could get some super fans that way, huh?
Yeah, super fans.
maybe we could marry the two. Sparkleoneous, when you first
I don't want to get married yet.
No, not.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little.
I more meant the
No.
idea, guys. Good lord. The ideas, all of them together, Sparkeloneous.
I'm not against the idea of getting married, but
All right. Okay. Well, you are good at jazz. I have seen in the past from your first few shows, and while we are getting more into, maybe we can, mix some of the sounds from Gribbik and some of your jazzier beats, and we can get some cooler stuff going. Now that we've had a time to practice together, I think we can play around in that experimental space.
yeah, I'm interested in that. I think maybe we could do Gribbik 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Well, we
Doesn't
certainly
he die at the end of Gribbik 1 though?
Gribbik he has a son though.
Necromancer.
That's why it's called
Canonically,
Gribbik
he
2.
does have a son.
It's Gribbik 2. That's his name. The son.
His name is Gribbik also.
It could be about Gribbik escaping from hell. Like, we can do all sorts of heaven.
That
Of
is
course he would
pretty
go to
experimental.
Goblin heaven. Yeah, right.
Is it? Or we can get Orpheus adjacent with it.
Orpheus.
Gribbik's time in the afterlife.
Hold on.
Orpheus.
Ooh.
So good.
Gribbik meets Orpheus in the afterlife,
Dang.
and they go on adventures.
Or they fall in love. Who knows?
Or they fall in love.
That would be pretty experimental for a goblin camp.
They haven't heard this section of Gribbik's tale yet. We should be careful about which parts we include just to make sure we can nail this. Exant.
Y'all cool with this?
Y'all cool
Gribbik's
with
ballad
make
is
sure.
We have a few hours, and I could do
alright.
some alterations on
So I think we should
instruments.
do a quick little band huddle, get some ideas together. Thank you for your input, Kendra. Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I'll go. Sit in the wagon, I guess.
Good job, Kendra. Thanks for your input.
Is
Okay,
Barson in the
Kendra
huddle?
leaves. No.
Oh.
Barson's not part of the band. He's the manager.
Yeah, the manager's not part of the band.
But what about the security guard then?
He played the
Axe
axe
is
in the
part of
last
the band.
show.
He's
Come
down.
on.
The band.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry.
he's the percussion now.
Remember when
That's
he played
fair.
the axe? It was so good.
Oh, and he shimmied his. Oh yes, and he shimmied
And he
his.
shimmied his tank top.
Right.
His tank
My
top.
midriff chainmail.
I apologize. You're correct.
How could you?
Okay, so now you're in a band huddle, just the band. What's up?
All right, what did you want to talk about, Haribo? Your
Well, what-
greatest weakness, perhaps? Just kidding. Just kidding.
Wow.
I'm stubborn, all right. I was literally trying to recall. I don't think I'm the one that said we should.
It was me.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Margery is who I meant
Yeah,
to say.
I was gonna say.
Hello, Haribo. Nice to see you.
Gaslighting
Welcome to the
myself
huddle.
into thinking it.
No, I just thought that we should maybe talk before we get in there about what the plan is.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Sometimes I forget we're not a real band.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, we have played several shows together. I think even as a fake, we have pretended to be a band longer than we were adventuring together.
Yeah, it's
Right.
good to know that we have other job options in case adventuring doesn't work out.
We are becoming a multimedia corporation. I mean, I guess I've gotten caught up in this, but it seems like it would be best to go in those front gates with the intent to play a final show and then quote unquote party, as we have done time and time again with them. Only this time, not party and get them maybe excessively partied and see if we can do something about finding them goblins and getting them out of here while they are distracted.
Yeah, we should figure out where they keep them.
I mean, we definitely need to figure out how they have been disseminated. I mean, we don't know if they're even in this outer shell or if we're going to have to play yet another show on the interior of the mountain. This could not be our final show. We don't even really know. Maybe we just sort of back pocket the execute the drunks plan. Execute while they're drunk.
Leave Boston out of this.
No, sorry. Sorry. Execute while they're drunk plan. Thank you for showing your face on that one, Gabe. You were like, "Excuse me?" And I was like, "That didn't sound right either." Execute while they're drunk plan, just in case we find the goblins, but there may be more in the mountain.
Yes, I think the best plan is to be as low-key as possible for as long as possible. And then we hightail it out there all at once. Hard to do a distraction when you are the distraction.
Pulling the goblins out of the mountain and then through the settlement is going to be challenging.
Fight the feet.
Thaddeus, do you have any input on? I don't know. This is a tough one.
Do you know any eagles?
Glad that we've finally come to that conclusion after all of this journey.
Yeah, does anyone know any giant eagles that they've neglected to mention until now?
And I know a few pigeons from the town, but I'm not sure.
I know
that's
Hotel
the same.
California.
I know a dragon.
We could ask the dragon.
I mean, he's sort of far away to ask him now.
Sure is, but Gib.
What?
I don't know if we could get you back to that. He's really far away. Never mind. He's really far away. He's like 10 days travel. Yeah.
And Gib his little legs.
Well, hold on. Now, this was a 10-day travel by Stuve, going as what we have done, 12 maybe at this point. I don't quite recall. I'll have to recount. But my question is if you push Stuve back, we're already going to have to push it back, right? If you chug Stuve back to that dragon, you get on that dragon, there's no way that's a 10-day flight, right? There's no way. That thing's going to move much faster than Stuve moved. That's a day's travel.
How are we going to get a dragon to pick a bunch of goblins and not just eat them? Or us?
That's true.
Mean, whatever it is convinced of to leave its nest to help us in the first place, I imagine will do enough to get it to not consume the goblins. We just have to figure out what that is. I think initially we were planning on warding the dragon off, so this is like... we could technically get the giant eagles to swoop in at the end and pick us up. Like if we could figure out what to trade the giant eagles, but this is like a super
Most
backup.
Dragons are not notoriously lawful, good, helpful sorts. Is that might be the rub for Thaddeus and all of this.
And also, we'd be sending Gib as our negotiator.
There is that very valid concern as well.
Well, he's a member of the team. He's got to pull his weight at some point, but I can agree. That's like a straw in the dark plan. I'm just like,
yeah, that's the Hail Mary.
But
if all else fails,
now would be the time that we would need to begin. Gib would want to leave.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, if he leaves on Stuve, we don't have Stuve, and then the 3-hour trip now is longer.
How many goblins are we trying to save?
In a wagon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
How
don't.
many goblins are there that we're trying to save? Does anyone have a head count or a name or a list?
30.
30? Could we cram 30 goblins into the cart and then just...
But without Stuve, I don't think we're pulling that cart.
No, I'm saying instead of taking a dragon, can we just find a way to hide them into the cart? And then be like, oh, we gotta go to the next show. Bye, 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 bye. And then...
I feel like if we can hide all 30 goblins in the cart, we're going to have to walk
fully
next
laden
to the cart.
Cart with us walking next to it.
Yeah, we did ride in here with no Kendra, no Satchel. So sorry, we have to go on alone. No, we don't have room anymore.
No, we came. We know the way back. We came with you. Remember?
We came with you.
We were there.
We know the shortcuts, zappy hands and all. I just, yeah, I mean, we literally will have to cross that bridge when we come to it.
I don't like that.
I don't
Yeah, but
either.
with our current methodology that has gotten us this far, I don't think we thought about the next step. So I think we need to continue with the plan of dazzle them with
Not
brilliance
thinking about
or
the next
baffle them with
step.
bullshit.
Oh God.
We'll come up with
That's
something.
where
in the middle.
Sparkeloneous is going to have to come in clutch with his
Yeah.
charisma
Cold.
checks.
It's called improvising.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if we can perform so well, we can get them to offer us a reward. We can say, "I'll take 30 goblins."
I'll take
those
30
decent ones.
specific goblins.
Yeah, but I want to pick them. They're my. I want to.
Not you. You. Me. Not
I'll just
you.
hold my
Oh.
I'll just hold my hand and Haribo, you give me a thumbs up on each goblin as I run my hand over the top of them.
Yeah, we'll figure it out, I guess. This was
Good meeting, guys. Good band meeting. Good as they
Alright.
always are.
Break.
As we walk back to the wagon, I guess I want to offer Margery and Gib. Gib, I don't know that we have enough time for me to create that box, so if I can create another more simple instrument for you, if you would prefer to switch it up, if you have anything from your time at home that maybe is more suited to you. I guess I should have asked in the first place. I just got overly excited. And same for you, Margery. If the squeeze horn is not working out for you, I know that you have been an expert, but
That's me playing. Sorry, I was showing off.
if you prefer a
squeeze horn
different
has been excellent.
alteration.
At this point, I don't have it. I don't want to relearn something. This is fine. I don't think I should change my instrument the day of our biggest performance.
I mean, we're going experimental. Again, we could do whatever we want, and they will never know. No, but that makes sense.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna
The glass bowls
I'm not gonna
were fun, but
look a gift horse in the mouth if you're offering to
horse.
do a new
his name is Stu.
a
and
new
he's a camel.
instrument for me.
Yeah. Well, not for you.
As
Gib.
For Gib, yeah, certainly. As I look at the list of patches on Margery's robe,
Oh,
I noticed 2 sets of wind chimes.
2.
Oh,
I'm
2 sets
wealthy.
of wind chimes. So Gib could definitely switch to the wind chimes.
Heck yeah, from our boy Gib.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah.
Chimes for my Gib.
That's
Gib
my.
reaches forth and pulls the patches off and just has 2 sets of wind chimes in his hands.
Does he need 2 or 1? Because how does he? Is he playing them like clanging them, or is he like hitting them with one?
He could hit them with a little tiny mallet.
Yeah. How does one play wind chimes?
Oh, like a triangle,
you're not
but like
supposed
so many
to,
more
but-
choices.
or with your fingers, and you just run the back of your fingers across the wind chimes.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull 1 wind chime, and then I'll find a stick, and I'll hand the stick and the wind chime to my buddy Gib, my little
I can
henchman.
wrap it so it's like a mallet.
Huzzah!
All right, we'll give this a shot. Why
Give,
not?
give it a rip, Gib. Come on, fuck it up.
Okay, Gib rips it.
Does he rip the wind chimes though, or does he like play one?
Does he beef it? Or does
Oh, he rips the wind chimes, doesn't he? He tears them clean up. You said give it a rip, and Gib just like reaches up
and
and confusedly
Gib's
tears
like,
off the
"Okay."
wind chimes. He's like, "Okay, that's not music, Margery."
Gib rolled
Whatever
a
you say,
dirty
mistress.
1.
Oh.
Definitely.
Those
Definitely.
chimes are tore up.
Just grabs all of them and yanks them off.
I was like, oh, Gib.
I thought, like with the patch, right? No?
Not quite.
Why did you show an interest in the chimes, Gib? I thought I asked you if you had an instrument from your home or your peoples, and you tore the you pointed at the patch, and Margery tore it off, and then you ripped him to shreds, Gib.
Yeah, Gib, what a waste.
It's a wild way to play music.
It's just like an instrument from my home.
Well, wait.
You only play them once. They're single-use instruments.
Oh, Margery, I see a second patch there. Would you mind? I just want to show Gib how.
I need to repair these wind chimes before I start ripping off all my All
I
my
guess
wind chimes.
I could repair
Yeah,
them.
I mean, it wouldn't be hard to like retie the strings. Yeah.
Sure, I'll
I'm
give 'em
saving.
a
I'm
little
saving
revamp.
those for. I'm saving those second wind chimes for rainy day.
Or
Give me an hour on the road,
second
Gib.
Maybe-
time.
Maybe
I'll
Margery
repair
needs to
these
feel
perfectly.
whimsical.
Can I, the way that Haribo repairs them, just so that you're aware, is Gib holds them like wind chimes like he was going to, but now he has to pull 5 separate strings with his fingers to get them to ding. He has like little bells inside of them. He had to repair it, and Haribo always does it differently. So now he has to play it like with his
He
fingers.
improves upon the
And there's
design,
an
of
extra
course.
one, you know what? I learned from the glass bowls, there's an extra loop for his tail, so he can play the biggest one with his tail in the center.
Okay, so he's sort of got like marionette chimes.
Yeah, the marionette chimes.
Okay, that's fun. That's fun.
Good recovery, Gib. Way to pivot.
We didn't
It
need
had
the
nothing
second
to do
patch.
with it. It would do it again in a heartbeat.
First time I give it to him, he goes to pull. I'm like, no, give.
Nope.
It's not a single
Spray him with a
use
bottle.
instrument.
Okay. Well,
Is it showdown, throwdown, hoedown time?
Hoedown Throwdown Part 2? Part 3?
I believe it's going to be Gribbik the Brave 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Gribbik the Brave 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Also, Kendra, I guess while we're on the road, are they aware of our impending arrival? That we're coming soon? But when you left,
Probably. They probably know by now.
yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I'm not very confident in that answer.
I mean, we blew him off the socks at the last town. It's gotta reach. The word has to have reached here by now.
I mean, yeah. We can send rudimentary signals through the Fuzzy Foot network to let them know someone's coming. I don't think we can tell them that it's a band and they kicked ass at the last show.
Make it a rhythmic sound through the fuzzy foot. Like, you know, make it go like bum 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 bum. That way they know a band is coming.
If you played the sound of Gribbik the Brave, they would have known how well we did.
Yeah,
Imagining you're
can you just play the whole
Morse code
thing?
and you get jazz.
Play the whole thing.
Skibbity bop bop stop. Skibbity dibbity boop boop.
Bippity Bop Bop Stop is so good. Oh my god. Jazz Morse Code is my favorite. Skippity Bop Bop Stop.
The wagon journey's on. We make our way up to the mountain. Does anyone want to make any checks or of any sort at all? Or do we just sort of want to let the narrative wash over us and just sort of let things happen to the party?
I mean,
Well, when you put it like that.
Yeah, I don't feel
is there-
great about.
Some sort of gut check of like, should we really be doing this?
no is the answer.
Yeah.
Haribo is most curious if there's any other way out of the mountain. Like, I don't know that I would be able to see that, but like another exit. How are we going? I'm most worried about how we're going to get the goblins through this settlement. And I don't know if, while we approach, if there's anything that I can be on the lookout that would be like starting to think about how we're going to exit this place.
Okay.
Maybe a survival check of some kind, an investigation.
Yeah, I could see a survival check. I could see you having like binoculars or something built into your goggles.
Yeah. 15. I don't think I even need to look at my number. That's a 15 probably.
15's not bad. 15's not bad. I think with the 15, you're scanning the area sort of surrounding this fortification, and you see, perhaps you don't even see, but you hear the trace sounds of rushing water, and you recall both that this settlement is connected in some way to the Underdark, and that in a previous episode,
That's insane. That just fucking came back to me. I'm blown away. Yeah.
in a previous episode, Margery saw some stuff about caves. Caves pretty close to the surface of the ground because of all this water going around.
Limestone caves and the way that they branch off or something. And we didn't go search that, but you did like remember that about. That's wild. Yeah. Or the
So-
limestone riverbed. Yes, that's what it was. Fuck yeah, dude. So cool.
I can't say for certain, but you know, that you are connected to the extensive Underdark cave system, and that there are surface caves around. So,
Haribo gulps. This is gonna be a long one.
cave stuff. Cave stuff if you wanna.
I don't know that we're going to make our time frame to get back to Decrum if we end up in the Underdark.
Yeah, what about the Shakespeare?
If we end up, I mean,
What about
yeah.
the Shakespeare?
I mean, that is why we're counting our days.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're on a boat, though, like, then we're not
True.
running stew.
We
in the
could make up
moment.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot needs to be considered, but I think that is currently the same, the equivalent of sending Gib to find a dragon. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Great. There's another exit. I love that. We don't know what that means, but it's there, and I do. That makes me feel a little.
Okay. Does anyone else want to make checks, or is it just Haribo?
Now, being as he is a mountain dwarf, Thaddeus would go for a survival check as well.
Okay.
And that would be a 17.
Hey.
Can I do like a prepare a tune check? Like Sparkleoneous wants to spend time really working on a banger here.
Yeah, give me a charisma check, and if you do well, you get advantage on your next charisma check.
Sick. All right, I got a 14 total. Not the best charisma check I've ever had.
Oh, it's not. No, I'm not gonna give it to you for a 14.
Fine. You know, they're okay with lyrics.
Yeah, no, you're
What about just
you're
like a
noodling
plus
around
one
back there.
from being rerehearsed? He still was
Yeah.
trying to come up with something.
You can have a +1, certainly.
Okay, sweet. I'll take a plus
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Big number for me. If I can get a couple more of those, we'll be really in business.
I rolled a 19 perception check. I'm using back to my urchin roots, just trying to see, like, sussing out what our audience looks like, what do we got going on, what's the general vibe. She's always about a vibe check.
Okay.
Vibe check is great.
Thaddeus, I think with your Mountain Dwarf experience and your 17 check, you discern in the sort of the area surrounding this wall, you can see evidence of further fortification and work having been done to make this mountainside even more defensible. There are characteristic piles of stone that you see that indicate certain types of like pits for like troops to be in.
Okay.
Not so much like traps as much as being prepared for siege, perhaps.
Okay. I would definitely share and point those out to the rest of the crew as subtly as I can with Grayman and our other friend on board.
That may also give an indication for the type of reception you're likely to receive.
Yeah. This
Maybe
is a
we
great
should do a
plan.
song about
I love it.
siegecraft. Build a catapult. I'll work on it.
Also, if we should approach playing music so they're aware that it is us, the band, coming.
Oh, that's a valid point.
That is a valid point. Then I'll do performance checks for everybody as we roll up on this spot so that we can, so that our editor will have a great time with this episode. But first, Margery did an urchin check. And if I recall, you did pretty good, right?
19 for my vibe check.
19 for your vibe check. I can't give you a vibe check because there's no audience to vibe check yet, because we're still sort of coming up on the settlement. But with your urchin senses, you see the Grayman. You spot him out of the corner of your eye, taking various things off of his person and putting them into a pouch. And then taking the pouch, which is a fairly decent size, and putting that entire pouch into his breast pocket of his vest.
And we remember what else is in there. Poisons.
Yeah.
Poisons and statues is what we know the Grayman has.
Pocket of holding.
His vest of holding.
Best of house stuff.
Vest of Have stuff is pretty good.
At least my belt is doing that for me at the moment, so.
So, performance checks for your walk-up music.
He's hiding his
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Are they gonna fucking... Oh, no. I mean, we don't have anything...
That's a
to
12 for Thaddeus.
14 for Margery.
Performance plus 3, that's a 12.
Yikes. Maybe we shouldn't have let them know we were coming.
I mean, you know, not every performance is a banger. Sparkeloneous usually saves us anyway.
Yeah.
Gib?
That's true in his wind chimes.
I got a good roll this time. 17.
Gib rolled a 7, so
Oh.
Gib.
It's a new instrument. He'll
it
learn.
is...
Well, the wind chime
7
is
on
new
a
for him.
D8?
Yeah, the wind chime's new. He's new to the wind chime.
Wait, 7 on a D8?
Oh.
Alas. So I think this is sort of Sparkeloneous playing a tune on top of... I mean, the rest of you rolled, like, better than average, so...
Oh, wait, make mine an 18. I forgot I have +1.
Oh, okay.
Is that better?
Oh,
Does that
yeah.
help?
I rolled a 14.
It's one better.
We did say experimental, you know? Practice
It
for
is what-
experimental
you
isn't
know-
going to sound great.
It's sort of a waltz kind of a thing. It's in, like, 3/4 time, and then Sparkeloneous is sort of playing on top of that.
Yeah.
That, that
That's
sounds
it.
like about our checks. It's good.
So you arrive at the walls playing that. And I think it sort of goes similarly to the last village that we arrive at, where once you have arrived at the wall, someone shouts down from the top of the wall, "State your rank and purpose!"
Gib, do the thing.
Gib, do the thing.
Gib,
Look
do
at
the
Kendra and don't talk this time.
Give check, do.
No, Gib. Can Margery just put a hand on Gib's shoulder? Does that aid at all? Does that help? Just
I
kind
mean,
of.
are you trying to stop him or are you trying to help him?
I'm just like support. I'm here, right? I'm right with you, Gib. Please don't
Okay.
mess this up.
Please don't mess this up.
Just stay here. Just stand.
That's a lot to telegraph through one hand on a shoulder.
Listen, you don't know.
I'm
You
here
don't
for you.
know between
I'm right behind
hench
you.
person
Got
and
this.
hench lord. All right, you don't know.
Hench Lord. Oh my god.
Putting a hand on
Head.
someone's shoulder, not a check. Telegraphing 4 paragraphs to them through your squeeze, definitely a check.
Squeeze in Morse code.
Yeah,
Skibbity stop.
maybe wisdom?
What's-
Arcana, perhaps?
Which one? Well, seriously, do I have higher?
Arcana is a root of wisdom,
Intel.
so if you have...
Is it?
Oh
I
no,
thought it
it's
might be
intelligence. You're right, you're right.
Yeah.
So, are we doing it? Did you say wisdom or did you say?
Wisdom feels more like what you're doing.
Okay, so that's
You're trying
great.
to just sort of wish.
That's good for me. That is a 19. Can I just wish to get what I want?
I was gonna say, it sounds more like
You
a
can,
charisma
but not in that
support.
way.
Like, I'm here for you, buddy. Not like a, I wish you do this, right? That's so funny. I hope that whatever you're gonna do is the right thing. A
Wow.
lot to
This-
telegraph to the squeeze. That's funny.
I'm sorry.
When can I make a win check? I want to do a win.
So
What
you
does a
can use his
19 get me?
chimes?
Yeah. What does a 19 get me?
On
In terms
wish
of-
check.
Well, it's a good thing that Gabe rolled an 18 before any of this happened.
Oh,
Um,
hell yeah.
Okay. Kandra gets up and, Sorceress Kandra, escorting the band.
Kissing
Lips.
booth.
Kissing booth. There it is.
Kissing.
Kissing booth.
Kissing lips is good too, though.
I was thinking about the patch.
Do I have kissing lips patch?
Isn't that what it is? Isn't the kissing booth symbol is like a pair of
Oh,
lips?
I thought you meant on my cloak. I'm like, do I make lips?
Oh yeah, I
up
too
here?
was like, what is she gonna pull off the cloak for lips? What's happening?
Ew, I don't want lips.
Yeah. You don't want lips. And then Gib pops off. Gib hops not out of the wagon, but up onto the bench where Barson's at with Kandra. And he does the same peculiar bow that he did at the previous village. And he says, "We humbly greet the mighty horde.
Haribo bows lightly behind him, hopefully as like a show of whatever he's doing. Solidarity.
There's a brief pause, and then you hear ropes and wood creaking as the stone slab doors of this wall slowly open inwards, and you get your first view into our main settlement. And it looks very much
welcoming and pleasant.
Oh yeah, no, super,
like 30
super
goblins.
duper. No. It's just 30 goblins sitting
30
in an
friendly
abandoned...
goblins saying hello, welcome.
Yes.
We've been waiting for you.
Done.
Playing cornhole, having a good time.
You just have to get that one dude up on the wall.
Now this is a good game.
It looks like the architecture you might see in a storybook of a neighborhood where all of the buildings are sort of, they're not quite to code. They're all sort of built in a hodgepodge. They slant one way or another. Nothing is quite in symmetry or in alignment. I think it's a lot of mud brick with interspersed wood and stone. You can see that it's a lively place. There are many goblins and other humanoids sort of going about their business. However, your attention is immediately drawn by the troop of hobgoblin soldiers bearing spears who march out of a building off this main courtyard and assemble in a semicircle surrounding your wagon.
I like to imagine that we may have been playing up until that point, and then there's that, like, you know, that sound of like the band stopping abruptly. Kendra, I don't know if you have anything to do with to help with this satchel, but we're just here to play a show, guys. We're just here to play a show.
Is anybody gonna, speak for all this?
Yeah.
Oh no,
I don't say
I'm
that.
not
No, no, no.
sure.
Fuck it with an accent. Dang it. Dang it.
A hobgoblin exits the building that all of these spear-bearing hobgoblins have also exited. And as soon as she steps out, Kendra's whole demeanor changes.
Uh-oh.
That's not good.
Haribo doesn't notice a thing.
This hobgoblin is female, is about 5'5", is wearing black leathers trimmed in white fur, and the cape that she is wearing, which is also black leather and trimmed in white fur, is bedecked in red runes that also trim the edge of this cape.
Talk about loot.
Above her head, in sort of fiery lines, are traced two horns. It is not real horns, it is, for lack of a better word, magic.
Kendra, she looks tough.
Kendra immediately assumed the same bowing pose that Gib did originally when this lady stepped out.
Haribo will follow suit. Haribo will follow suit for sure. That feels safe.
Sparkleoneous is going to look to his right and then do the same.
Yeah, I guess it's respect. If we're just a band has gotta, respect its host.
It's certainly a choice to be made.
Yeah.
She walks
I don't
out.
know that Thaddeus wants to bow to these folks.
Also a strong choice. She walks out with her hands behind her back straight. She stops before the wagon, perhaps 15 feet from Stuve, and surveys the assemblage. She says, "Well, Satchel, I didn't think that we would enjoy your company again so soon. You said you had business out west." Satchel says, "My apologies for the incorrectness of my previous statement, but as you can see, I have found a most interesting distraction. I believe that this band will knock your socks off." She says, "Well, if they are enough to interest you, then they must certainly be something to speak to.
No pressure, folks.
I know.
Please escort the band. They're called Kissing Booth. Pardon me. Please escort Kissing Booth to the visitors' quarters. Kendra, you stay here."
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Kendra, not saying a word, hops out of the wagon.
Well, Kendra, I'm sure we'll see you later for the show, right?
I'm
Right.
not 100% sure.
Definitely. Yeah. I'll be there. I'll see ya.
Oh,
She-
I didn't catch your name. My name's Haribo. I play synth for the kissing booth. Hopefully, clearly talking to the person.
The air thickens a little bit. All of the hobgoblin spearmen are all now looking at you.
I ignore all of this. I pretend like it's not weird because it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be for me. It's very tense, but we're here to play a show.
We're here to
Don't
play
know
a
why
show.
this is weird. I definitely very clearly know it's weird, but don't know why.
My palms feel sweaty.
Do you have palms?
There's vomit on my sweater already.
She looks at you. She says, "Bold of you to address me directly. You are Haribo?
Deepest apologies. I am indeed.
You have an interesting demeanor. You lack all sense of decorum, but it is fun to observe.
This is true.
My name is Miranda.
Awesome. Sick. Nice.
Now
to
I'm gonna
meet
get
you,
confused.
Miranda.
I'm gonna get confused. No.
That's so fucking funny. Not even
Brilliant.
narratively funny, just funny for us in this moment. That's awesome.
Now who will
I
be
do-
shipping who?
I do jokes for everybody.
So good. Oh, so good to meet you, Miranda. I'm sure we're gonna knock your socks off with our show this evening. Gribbik too. I've heard Electric Boogaloo, and I wink at her.
Oh
I'll push that envelope.
man, who am I
She
shipping
kills
now?
She kills you.
Knock my socks off, you say.
Oh.
Promises, promises. And then she snaps her fingers, and the troop of spearmen assemble in a tight perimeter around your wagon.
I whisper to the team, "What have I just done?" I sort of blacked out in the booth for a second. What did I do?
I couldn't tell if you were trying to seduce her or were just being a dumb himbo.
I don't know either. I was just trying to get us out of this situation.
She might want you to knock her socks off later, Haribo. You might need to take one for the team to distract her while we get these goblins. I got a plan D.
Plan D!
Too fucking fun. Oh no. We've thought of it all at this point.
That's right.
Dragons,
folks. We are on.
rivers, and the ultimate
We are on 3 levels of innuendo at this point.
plan D. I cannot believe it.
Listen, you care about these goblins, right? What about-
I'll keep it in
What
the
about
back.
coriander? Don't you care about coriander?
What?
Are you still messing up Koryak's name? And has been
Koryak.
almost a month. I'm just, I'll keep it in the back pocket. That is.
I'm sorry, I don't care about. I mean, they're fine. I just don't know their names. Sorry.
That's fair, I guess. No,
all
Margery,
of
it's
us are
not.
best
Learn their
friends.
names. We're here to save them.
Well, you didn't even.
Their
I want.
names.
Name all 30 right now, then, Haribo.
It's not the naming of them that he has troubles with, it's the
Jimbo.
recognizing them.
Zenith, Yemnik, Jerome,
Yemen and Nick are 2 of them.
Neshra, Ebon, Atrix,
I like that you say it like you're casting a spell.
Coriander,
Paul.
Miranda. Also,
so there is a
Another
coriander.
Miranda. Oh, good.
I was right then. There is a coriander.
Well, sure, but you were definitely talking about Koryak. Do you want me to
You
continue?
don't know that? No. Thank you.
I'll come up with 30 names for these goblins right now.
Don't you dare!
Don't you dare! The guards are like, stop, you have to be quiet for the rest of the trip.
Stop saying random goblin names.
Oh man.
Okay, so Kendra and Satchel both have hopped out of the wagon, and you guys are escorted through the streets of this town. Perception checks, certainly, to see what you observe as you wander through the town.
Haribo, lost in the absolute horror of what he has maybe just gotten himself into, got a 9.
Yeah. Thaddeus, who's feeling very surrounded and not in a happy place, got a nat 1.
Ooh,
He doesn't like
I
the
got-
walls.
I got 14.
And this
Sparkeloneous
coming
is
from a
all
mountain dwarf.
eyeballs. Sparkeloneous has a 19.
Oh, the pebbles are flying. They're
What
looking.
about Gib? Gib?
What about Gib?
Did you say Satchel stayed behind too?
I did.
She
Uh-oh.
didn't ask him to stay behind. That makes me nervous.
Oh no, he's gonna knock her socks off.
Oh,
I couldn't even ask her name, and he can just jump out of the cart and hang out if he wants. Like,
well, she knew. Well,
He's the gray man. He does what he wants.
she addressed him first.
that's fair.
They're on the
that's fair.
same
It's
team.
true.
It's
That was
okay.
he was the first one that she talked to.
That's true. I did narrow my eyes. I wanted to narrow them at him, but not in that moment.
What do I do with the nat 1 is the question.
Maybe nothing.
That's no fun.
It's no fun.
Maybe if Thaddeus steps into a cave puddle and now has wet feet.
Great.
He
knows
recognizes
what was in that
someone
puddle?
from his home mountain, the blacksmith here. He died.
that's
no?
interesting.
No, not
He
that.
dies.
No, not that. Not that.
Wait a minute.
I take it back. Take it back. Take it back.
That would be, I think, an unconscionable wrinkle to the narrative.
A
Yeah.
bunch of
Why?
To have a new set of captives that we have to rescue while we're here.
Or
That's
maybe-
it's interesting, but I don't think I can do it.
Oh,
If this
okay,
was a
see,
book, if I was writing a book or a TV show, maybe. But
My pitch may not. I mean, maybe they're not a captive. They could just be hired here. Like a good blacksmith wouldn't necessarily be a captive.
or a
But
bunch
also
of bat guano falls on him, and now he stinks like shit for the rest of the time.
now you just absolutely reek.
Awesome.
Bat guano is a very pungent smell, though.
Haribo, you're pretty lost in it. You had sort of an overwhelming interaction. Now you don't know what to think.
Long day.
Long day, I guess. Margery, you observe more of what's around you. The Hobgoblin settlement, it feels like a full-ass town based on your urchin senses. Like you could get up to some urchining here. There are alleyways, there are whole like streets that branch off of the one that you guys are riding down. A lot of the exterior of the buildings seems to have some kind of like scaffolding on it, and the scaffolding itself is swarming with goblins. There are goblins like scuttling and doing the vertical of this town, as well as milling about in the streets and alleyways. Sparkeloneous with the 19, is there anything specifically that you are looking out for?
Probably like holding pens, like places where like it is clear that there are people who are lesser than are being held, or like people who are like being imprisoned, jailed, etc.
Okay. I think then I have I've got two things for you. The thing that you see on the way to your destination is that you pass a row of what in another town you might think of as stables, but here I think holding pens probably works better. The holding pens here are full of giant animals in various stages of being tamed. I think with a 19 you can definitely see like saddles and like tack for them. Whether or not they are accepting of that tack just yet, who's to say? You see, I think, giant lizards, giant rodents. You see a couple giant bats. I think the other thing I will give you with the 19 is that you see fuzzy foot lines running from building to building here.
Okay. More of them spooters.
Give a giant bat shits on him. A huge pile of guano falls on Gib, and he reeks for the rest of this adventure. He rolled a
Hell
1.
yeah.
In some places, Gib, that's considered good luck.
I mean, he's a little guy, Cayman guy. Maybe he likes it.
Now,
Margery,
I do
no
not.
one likes
No,
being
I hate it.
shit on. Well,
I
not
said
no
maybe.
one, but it's like publicly and in the cart. It's not like, yeah.
It's even privately pretty frowned on.
It's pretty, yeah, generally, but I'm not gonna like speak for everyone, Gib.
I'm not here to yuck people's yums, but also yuck.
But right now, you just got shit on by a bat, so I understand.
I wish I hadn't opened my mouth to say any of this.
Oh.
Oh, gross. Sorry, Gib.
His little vest, his double vest.
We'll get you washed off before the show.
It's hopefully reversible.
Oh, the vest. I was like, the bat shit is definitely reversible, Gib.
Nope, forever.
I sure hope
Forever.
it's not
Forever
permanent.
thing. You sure that's not part of it?
Experimental, man.
A feature, not a bug.
Thaddeus,
Yes.
talk to me for a second about where you grew up. You said that you left at a fairly early age to join the army or whatever. Like, talk to me a little bit about that.
He spent his early formative years living in something not entirely unlike this, as though I believe the buildings within the cave structure were less rickety than they are here. But he was raised in the mountains at elevation, so caves and in stone dwellings and all are very familiar to him from his youth. But then he did leave to go join the army because he had to find his own way because he was too chatty for most of the dwarves where he lived. But he was raised in caves on the mountain until he decided to join the Flatlanders and join the army.
When you say at elevation, I'm curious, what was the exterior of the cave like? Was it like on a flat-facing cliff that you had to literally climb, or was it a little bit more like mountain trekking, elevation style?
Yeah, it was more like trekking. There was, for this particular village or town, there was sort of a plateau, and from that plateau they then carved into the mountain to build their city into the mountain. But there was a big plateau for outdoor events and big bonfires and celebrations and stuff.
Oh.
Formative years, so you left for the military on a human scale, what, in your late 20s?
Yeah, mid to late 20s. Yeah. Still young for a dwarf, but yeah.
All right. I think the thing that you see, Thaddeus, as we go by the streets, you see a smithy.
Ooh.
Yeah, and like a familiar-looking smithy too, set up in the dwarven style. And you don't see their face, but you see a dwarf working in the smithy. His back is to you, but you feel like you recognize the emblem emblazoned on his keep using vest as a clothing item because I like vests personally, but I think in this instance I'm going to say it's emblazoned on his overalls.
Okay. So is this like my clan crest that I recognize, or just someone familiar?
It is a version of your clan crest. Yes, it is the specific crest of the, temple is sort of the wrong word because it's a god of crafting more than it is a god of godliness.
Workshop.
Yeah, like the workshop god, but the specific one to your clan is what this fella's wearing.
Okay. Are we close enough that I could speak to him in Dwarvish?
I mean, if you want to try and call out to him, you can give it a shot.
I would. I'd call out to him in
Charisma save.
Charisma save?
Mm-hmm.
All right. That is a 18.
Hey, okay,
Yes.
yeah. What do you shout to this gentleman?
I would shout to him the traditional greeting of hello, brother of the mountain, or something to that effect. Something that he would instantly recognize from home as a greeting.
Assad, dwarf.
Cool. I'm not going to. You rolled a 1 on your perception, so I'm not going to tell you whether he heard that or not.
Okay.
Can I tell if he heard that?
He did.
We share that quietly.
Thaddeus will never know. Okay. So they march you through the streets, and at some point you guys take a left. and all of a sudden, you guys are now in an area of holding pens. And they march you up to a, for lack of a better word, a cell. And they open the door to the cell, and they say, "Get in there. It's the visitors' quarters."
I think I should have seen this coming. It only makes sense. Maybe I whisper, maybe we play along for now.
I don't have any other
Go.
options.
Get in the, go.
It's not like
In the
we're
cell.
doing
way.
anything now. Yeah, all right, in the cell. It's not like we can do anything now.
You don't have any camels here, do you?
What's a camel?
All right, no worries then.
How many of them escorted us here?
Enough to entirely surround the wagon.
All right.
Well,
now is not the time
we
for
fought-
act of bravado.
Yeah, no.
10?
If we put,
I'm gonna
if we
go
put
with
the
10.
bees now, yeah. Even if
In
we
the
could
middle,
beat
in the
up-
heart of the mountain, probably not.
right, yeah. Even if we could
Or
beat
the
up 10
settlement or
dudes,
whatever.
Yeah, that's not really much.
Well, beans.
You guys get in the cell. Sparkeloneous. Now the second portion of your 19 comes into play.
Okay.
As you are entering the cell, you see 3 cells down from where you guys are penned up. You see a few goblins languishing in the cell. I don't know if Haribo has talked to you about how he's recognized goblins so far, but perhaps your exposure to Koryak leads you to
we
find
talked about-
their jewelry.
Oh no, don't worry. Sparkleoneous is just gonna nudge Haribo, and then like with sort of his midsection, he's gonna point. It's like a little lump comes out of Sparkleoneous.
And I guess
Okay,
he
well,
knows
Haribo,
because
when you-
Haribo tenses.
When you see them, you know, Haribo. These are, I'm going to say there are 3 of them in this cell down the way. 3 of the goblins that have.
You want to pick any one
been
of the
napped.
names? Any 3 of the names I said earlier? Is it any of them, or is
If
it?
I,
one of the
if
people
I
didn't name?
remembered them, Ibn.
I think Ebon was one of them. No lie.
Yemanik.
Yemanik might have actually. That feels like it came out of my mouth. Okay, and hold on.
Miranda
on.
also.
Miranda also.
Miranda, I'm not using. Miranda is a character now.
Zeeth.
Zeeth?
Zeeth.
Zeeth is good. I'm gonna go with Zeeth and Ibn are 2 of the goblins that are over there.
Cool. I recognize them and I keep it to myself. Well, keep it to my attention.
I made the unfortunate declaration that we only took the women and children. Ibn is a lady goblin and Zeeth is a teenager.
Oh, I'm scared of teens.
Wait a second.
This Grace, not.
What did they do with the men? I do remember
the men
this.
they sent them to the Diggins. The men
Oh,
they
we
used
already
for Diggins.
We already. Oh no!
was It was a division of labor thing, not a gender thing, but now I've had to live with it.
Sure. Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, I remember feeling existential horror when you said that.
Yeah, no, I was like, no.
It's got to be a labor thing, right? Not a breeding thing. It's a labor thing, right?
It's gotta be. I mean, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Though
You can't say that. We can say that. You no. Fingers crossed.
It's an evil
He's like,
thing. It's
"We'll
about
see."
evil.
based on what I've already said, it's not a breeding thing, but that's not like the explicit intention. All goblins should be part of one tribe, I think is what we have said so far.
Yes. Well,
Anyways,
should we do some rehearsals in this cage?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
what do we have with us in the cage?
all your
Is the
whole wagon got put in, didn't it?
with Stu?
no,
Oh, where's the
no,
wagon and Stuve?
Stuve and the
And
wagon are
Barson.
like hanging out outside the cage. They've tied Stuve to a bar.
Barson's inside with us.
Barson's in with you guys.
Darn it, we
Stuve,
should have had
come pick
Boston
the
hide
lock.
under the false floor of the seat.
Stuve, come pick the
We
lock.
should have taught Stuve to
Stu-
pick Barson. Have you taught
Who
Stuve to
has
do any
animal
lock picking?
handling?
Sparkleoneous forms his hand into the shape of a key, and then he winks with one
No
of his
way.
pebbles.
I mean, I guess he could just sort of jam himself in a lock, but we shouldn't. Like, if we break out,
Can't he
again,
just
it's the same as fighting
sneak through
10
the
dudes.
bars?
Probably
We
also just squeeze through the bars. Yes.
Yeah, we could.
Well,
we
of
could
course
send-
I can.
Well, you could do recon. Sneak around.
The sneakiest of us.
Can you stick to walls and ceilings? Can you slam around on the ceiling where no one can look up to see you?
The ceiling of this cave?
Yeah.
Cage.
Are we in a cave?
Cage.
Cage.
Wait, you used both of the syllables. Is it a cage or a cave, or is it a cage?
That's
What
what
is
I'm
it?
asking.
I know, but Gabe, I thought he was clarifying, and then he said cage, and I was like, no.
I mean, we're in both right now.
Yeah, I would say more cage than cave. We're not like in the mountain just yet.
Oh, gotcha. I misunderstood.
The town goes for a ways before we hit mountain.
Are there anyone?
really?
Is there
Okay.
anyone guarding us?
There are 2 hobgoblins at the entrance to this set of pens. I think that would put them 20, 30 feet from you.
We can take action, I whisper, if we want, but I feel like Kendra and Satchel seem to be fully convinced of our... Right, there's no one... Before I continue, there's no one around us besides those 2 people, me whispering, that, like, Satchel and Kendra are gone, so it's just the team here, right?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't want to be misunderstood and fuck that all up. We seem to have them convinced as long as we just maybe trust them. We get to play our last show, we get further in the mountain. I still don't know about our exant, but, well, hold on. Sorry, I had forgotten. And I look over and there are a few goblins and I say, well, if some of them are up here, and I'd like nod a few cells over, maybe if we can chat with them, see what happened to the rest of the goblins?
Yeah, sure, we can do that. And Sparkeloneous plops his pot onto the ground, and then he becomes 1 inch tall, and he slides under the bars over to the other goblins. Hey, are you folks from the Goblin Village? Don't mind me, I'm not a puddle, I'm Sparkeloneous.
What? Oh,
Right here, on the ground.
we're from a goblin village, yeah.
Near deck room?
Yeah. Are you
That's-
from Deckram?
Well, no, I've done a tour there, but a lot of my compatriots behind me in the other cell are. Say, keep it down, you know, don't get too excited, but we are here to rescue you.
What?
Other
It's really hard not to get too excited about that.
act natural. You're talking to a puddle and all that. So are the rest of you out here, or did they take the rest of you deeper into the mountain?
They've got us on kitchen duties for now, while they're still sort of assessing our skills. We only got here a few days ago. Me
But
and-
all of you did end up here?
yeah, all of us that they took.
All right, that's good news. All right, well,
I don't know what happened to the guys. They
don't worry,
took 'em
they're
away.
back at
They,
home. Right now,
Really?
Koryak is acting as the elder.
Where's the elder?
Oh, somewhere
Oh.
else.
What?
Yeah, they took.
Well,
they
hold
took
on,
her-
hold on. Let me take
yeah,
that
they-
one more time.
They took her too.
No, Grace,
No, it
don't
was
worry,
in
I
the
got it. Let me
accent.
take
No,
that
it
one more
was in the
time.
accent. No, it was in the accent.
Well, the elder is back at the Goblin Village. His name is Koryak.
Oh
What?
He's the oldest one there.
no! The elderest one that they got.
Did all the other guys die? How old is Koryak?
No, we just put Koryak in charge while we... I mean, I guess we didn't put Koryak in charge.
Koryak put Koryak in charge.
Koryak put Koryak
Oryak's in charge.
It's a
Koryak
long
is in
time for
charge.
Koryak.
But we did save all the men. That's all we've done. Shocker. Started with the men, of course we did.
Yikes.
Me months ago when that episode happened.
But yeah, so the men, they're back at the Goblin Village. They're all fine, more or less. But yeah, so we're going to pretend, well, we're a band.
Oh.
Maybe you heard about my performance in Deck Room. But
What?
don't worry, it's not, we'll get to that later. But we're going to be performing a show here coming up, so just sort of, I guess, continue business as usual. And when the time is right, we're going to skedaddle.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully you've got more of a plan than just that. But
Oh yes, I too hope we've got more of a plan than that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and slither back into our cage.
okay.
You be good. All right. Sparkleoneous slithers back into the cage. All right, so it does seem like all of the goblins from the village are here in this town, not deeper in the cave, in the mountains. But
Yeah, I mean, there's no
great
but really.
news.
That's good news.
Yeah, that's
It
fantastic.
means we don't have to go deeper in the cage. We just got to figure it out here.
And if you saw all the pins on the way in, I mean, the goblins are as good with animals as we are. If they are training all these larger animals to act with saddles, I'm curious if we can just safety word, or I don't know, safety word. What's the signal word, and
Safety
get
word.
get the goblins moving. We can set that up. once
That's
we're ready,
plan.
but-
Safety words are involved in Plan D, Haribo.
Well, honestly, we may not need Plan D anymore. Although it may help if we're talking about Plan distraction.
Yep.
I didn't come up with this in the first place. I've just
It's true.
panicked. It was all panic. She was very imposing.
Is that what you're into?
Sure
We know it's time.
seems like it.
It's at least what I was nervous about in that moment.
I was nervous about a strong, hot lady telling me things.
Telling me what to do.
I think since we have a moment here, I do want to deal with one more thing that I should have dealt with at the top of the episode and then got lost in the sauce of some good theater and forgot. And that is the fact that you haven't dealt with your latest nodie, the one that sort of kicked it all off.
Oh.
You know what? Haribo is probably thrown for a loop. That makes sense. But maybe if he's scrolling now, just pressed up against the wall.
Yeah, no, I think you also got lost in it last night, and you're now in the cell and you're looking at your belt and you see that it still has its nodie symbol going because there's still the nodie that you received yesterday.
Mm-hmm. I mean, as things devolve down, I'll go and lean up against one of the doors of the cell, or the walls of the cell, and throw my goggles on real quick just to review this final nodie that kicked things off that I forgot to review.
Actually, now as I'm thinking about it, we may have actually already covered it in the last episode. I recall hearing myself talk about the spectrograph image that moves.
Oh, of magic. Oh, no, but I started analyzing it last episode. Yeah, I hit go on the analysis and then checked nodies.
Yes. Okay.
So instead the nodie now is analysis complete.
I think analysis complete is probably I'll go with that. Based on what I'm thinking about for other nodies, I think that's fine. The belt pings you for its analysis complete. You go and you sit in a corner and you put your goggles on to see the visual display of this analysis. And what it tells you is that it has identified within this energy signature trace aspects of an element that it has never seen before. And as it is putting together sort of the outline of this element based on the information that it's gotten in, it posits for you an atomic structure. But then again, unlike all other atomic structures that you've ever seen, this one continues to be in motion. It seems like the way that the atoms are connected forms almost like a perpetual motion machine, almost, that like the way that they are connected creates inertia that makes the structure continue to be in flux. I think the next bit of analysis, because like the belt says we've analyzed the structure of this energy. I think the next pop-up that it gives you is sort of an indication to apply analysis, and I think what that indicates is that the belt wants to take what it is learning and apply it to its own functions.
Haribo is going to hit the no button at the moment, and
That's interesting.
responds that like, I don't know, wait for, I guess, like his approval. Like he'll click that on when he needs to do some more research before it's time to ingrain it into the function. He doesn't know what that will do. He likes to be a little bit more sure.
Oh yeah, I look forward to discussing that with you off podcast.
Little safety red button on the side for now, or I don't know if it's a safety, but you know.
Okay. first thing that happens, a troop of hobgoblin spearmen come into the set of pens, and they form up in front of the door and they say, "The one who spoke to Miranda, you have been summoned."
God damn it.
Time for Plan D.
Tom.
Yay!
I look back at my team and I give them a thumbs up and I say, Plan D, I guess.
I throw him some electrolytes to.
Fuck a Gatorade. Throw me a prime energy drink.
Don't throw him a prime energy drink.
Can I
Prime is
cast like some sort
disgusting.
of-
Anyway, throw me a
Cast some
Throw
sort
him
of
a
Gatorade.
lunchly.
Oh wait, you have a spell for me? Margery?
Oh yeah, no. If you've got a spell
Anyone-
cast on him,
Well, I'm saying, like, is there one? I'm trying to think of like if I don't know if my healing spells can give you a little.
real quick.
I'm
I mean, if you can give him if anyone can give him a buff before he leaves,
Let's see. I'm looking at
I
my
can give
it'd
spell.
be useful.
Bardic inspiration. You know, I'll play him a little dick tune.
Yeah, maybe that might be better than.
A little
Honestly,
dick
that's
tune.
probably good, especially because my belt is like trying to parse that specific magic right now. That'll be good for my belt. Little dick tune. I
What's
say
a good-
thanks.
Wee. Wah, wah.
Oh, that doesn't sound like a good dick tune.
Yeah, it should have been more like down chicken wow wow.
Yeah, I was
No,
gonna
it's
say
a
that
little
sounds
dick tune.
No,
That
it's a
sounds
little
like-
dick tune.
like we learned something new about Haribo.
Haribo walks
What is
out
Haribo's greatest weakness?
running-
Oh, performance anxiety.
performance anxiety.
Look. Okay. Haribo leaves the cell. The hobgoblins form up around him and they march him away into the next episode.
Nah.
Into the next episode.
And we never
Bye,
saw
guys.
Haribo.
You're all done here.
I'll see you in 2 weeks.
And night falls, and you guys spend a night in the cell. However, at some point during the night, a note is slid into the bars of the cell. A note bearing the crest of Thaddeus's clan.
Ah.
What does it say?
And that's the end of the episode.
No.
That's so cool.
Love it. Looking forward to it.
Dang.
Gotta bring it all together.
Plan D.
Plan D.
Yeah. Guess what the name of this episode is
Yeah,
probably going to be?
that's the moment that it was said. I was like, "Yep, that was it. That was found
Oh, hell yeah.
Dude,
So-
I
Thanks for joining us for the 22nd episode of A Wider World, DM'd by Theodore Stringer. The players this episode are Lawrence Jennings as Sparkeloneous, Grace Stringer as Margery Ridgeback, Mike Harrison as Thaddeus Ofkoot, and myself, M. Williams as Haribo Tamagotchi. Support the podcast by becoming a free member on our Patreon over at patreon.com/ddadpodcast. That's patreon.com/ddadpodcast. And don't forget to rate or review the show wherever you're listening in from. The next episode will be out on December 12th. We'll talk to you then. The
So what happens
culmination.
next, God?
we gotta start the Miranda ship.
I know. Now I'm confused.
Miranda or Minerva, now they both actually exist. And also there's Miranda also, but you won't confuse her with anyone. She's Miranda
No,
also.
there's no Miranda also ship.
No, she's just there. She's just an also.
She's a
Maybe
goblin.
we ship Miranda also with Koryak.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, it's Koryak's sweet thing.
Me and Koryak can talk over our relationships with Miranda.
Very different.
Very different relationships from Miranda's.
I don't know how this is gonna go. Haribo is nervous.
Me neither yet.
I know. Am I just gonna listen to a romance?
No, don't
scene
go there.
between
Don't,
M-
no.
I said
Record it.
romance.
You know,
I
we
said
could record it in
romance.
our own time. It depends.
Oh my gosh.
Take her on a date.
I don't want to.
She's taking me on a date, Grace. I have no
That's
choice
true.
in the matter. I'm being pulled from a cage. Thank you.
Ideal.
All right,
date
Cage Boy, it's time for your
situation.
All
date.
right, cage boy, date time.
All right.
So does that in some way make this a cage match?
Mm.
Oh God.
The one kind of cage. I mean, I don't know if Thaddeus has a lot of practice.
2 enter, but 2 also leave.
2 enter and both leave satisfied.
Both leave differently.
Maybe one enters.